Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We've got a bit of testing to do this week, an EICR test basically, and just some sockets that I found, some issues and some problems, and we'll jump into that in a second. Just wanted to hark back to last week's video with the main fuse and basically the reasons for pulling or not pulling and the grey area around that. Now all I was basically saying was covering an inspection. If the seals are cut, are you going to pull that main fuse to check what on earth's going on inside there? Some people were saying never, some people were saying always, some people were saying stop what you're doing immediately, ring the DNO. And also, I just wanted to say, well, I said at the back of that video not to pull the main fuse. Now, not to sound too hypocritical, I was basically saying I don't want anyone to come over this video, watch it, view it, and think, oh, I can just go and pull the main fuse. No, you can't. No, you can't. If you want to end up like Edouard Delacroix from the Green Mile, then yeah, I'm not even going to say be my guest, just don't be my guest. Still don't pull the main fuse and deal with it properly, okay? And no, I'm not talking to electricians out there. Electricians know what to do. Competent people know what to do. Right, let's jump into this video. We've got, it's an EICR, it's a bit of testing to do and stuff like that. I found some problems, some issues, and I'll talk you through some of the things that I found. First things first, let's have a look at the equipment we've got to deal with. Here's the board, plastic BG board. We've obviously had smart meter fitted, and they've nicely fitted an isolator in now. It says terminals and cover and screw, blah blah blah, require hexagonal socket screwdriver. No problem whatsoever. We've got 100 amp main fuse in there, and it's been tied in there. It's good to see the tags in place, and obviously missing a label there, but yeah, it's a 16mm. But yeah, that looks like the most modern piece of equipment that's been installed here anyway, quite recently. Now let's get the front off. So we can see just before I pull the front cover off, I've undone the screws, and obviously it's always a benefit to have the isolator there should you need to work on it or anything and mess around with the tails. Saves pulling main fuses, I guess, but you can see there is some labelling in use, in situ, but for some reason the labelling system, like it starts at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, no 8 and 9, and 10, 11, 12. So the labelling system is a bit strange. The order rather. Certainly that isn't 1 and 2, and that's not 8 and 9. I would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'd be treating this as a 10-way board, because you can get 10 circuits in it, but 10 MCBs at least. So yeah, there's some relabeling to be done, I guess. I'll go ahead and take the front cover off now. So you can see there, right off the bat, there is a problem with the neutral there. Some exposed conductor hanging out on the right hand side. Again, that goes back to means of isolation. You can turn it off and just simply deal with that tail pretty quickly. Things don't look too bad. It's not too much of a rat's nest. I've seen worse, I've seen better, I've seen a lot better. But and obviously there you get one of the 10mm. I think there's a 16 coming in up there, and then you've got your 10mm. There's only one of them, so either the water's in plastic because there is gas central heating here, or the main bonding has been split. It's been split. They've cut the sheath back, and they've kind of without cutting it, they've joined both gas and water together. We'll go and have a look at that now. So let's come over to the gas now, and you can see that it is what I thought. Basically, let's see if we can get this torch pinned somewhere so it's not blinding everyone. Pin it to the gas meter, why not? So you can see there the 10mm earth bonding is coming straight over to the gas. Label on it nice and tight, and it's just been cut or stripped back, and then it's made its way over to what should be the stop tap. However, I can since report that there's nothing happening there, so obviously it's had some kind of plumbing additions or some problems or whatever. they've had a water meter fitted. Right, so someone's been doing something and they've just for some reason disconnected the 10mm bonding going to it. I don't know, earth clamp's gone and everything, so there's one little inspection that we've seen that needs to be put right. Excuse the radio being on, guys, if you can indeed hear anything in the background and YouTube doesn't ban this video. It's just to keep my sanity up, basically, being down here in a dark dungeon of a cellar. It's nice to have a bit of background music going on or something. Right, I've as you can see, I've turned everything off, isolated the supply, locked it off as well. We are still on round the corner there, the isolator just round that corner out of shot there, coming up, so we have actually got power going to these tails. But because I've disconnected the earthing conductor here to do the ZS test, I obviously want everything turned off up here. So let's turn the old dog on into its cycles. Loop, yep. Turn ATT off because there's nothing to trip. There's no RCDs or anything. We'll go ahead and connect blue first, then brown. As you can see there, we've got a couple of dots showing that we've got correct polarity. And hit that test button. Get a reading, hopefully. 0.12. Obviously, default, it just slicks back straight back into ATT mode. I'll reconnect the earthing conductor and do a PFC and CC, the potential short circuit current and the potential fault current. Hang that up there for a second. Reconnect this earthing conductor back up. Well, that's connected back up now. Obviously, the reason we would disconnect that to do the ZE, sorry, is you're trying to test the impedance all the way back to substation. You don't want any parallel paths coming through. Maybe you don't know where that's going to be connected to. That might have a good earth and stuff, a good connection to earth. So you want to just make sure all these are disconnected from the reading, and you're just basically testing that down the 16mm earthing conductor, which will give you a proper reading without any parallel paths messing you about. Now it's quite different when it comes to the PFC because, again, turn ATT off. You want to know what the potential is going to be. So in that situation, all these earths would be connected. Should a fault arise, you want to find out how many amps are going to come travelling down this cable and tripping MCBs. So we'll go ahead, connect back up there. Why does this light keep on? One of the biggest complaints about the QTech KT65DL is that the light keeps turning on and off. I guess it's to save your batteries, but so again, blue then brown. I've got the two dots, got some decent polarity, 240 volts, 50 hertz. Click that for the PFC, 2.23. Again, automatically default, it goes back into ATT mode. So remember that number, 2.23. Just click it over to PSC. Repeat the test. And you can see we've got the two dots there. I'll go ahead and take another reading. So 3.25, so 3,250 amps are going to come travelling down there should a fault occur. That's well enough to trip one of these fellas, but not enough to make it explode. I should also mention that the highest of the two readings that you do take is what you would put down on the sheet, what you would record down on the report. So in this case, it's going to be 3.25. All right, now if you can hear me over George Michael on the radio, I've locked off around the corner there and turned it off. Put that tail back in, connected it up properly, connection's nice and tight, and I've taken the opportunity while it's isolated and everything under there just to check out the buzz bar, make sure everything's okay. Everything's nice and tight, there's no signs of frying, melting, cooking, burning, any of that nonsense. You can usually see something like that. Bit of a torch up there and let you have a look. It's nice when the board is quite high. It's sitting about 7 foot off the floor at the moment, but yeah, you can have a look up there with the torch and have a look to see if there's any problems. Again, just give it a nice kind of tighten with the screwdriver and stuff. Now this is a bit of a flimsy effort by whoever's installed it. It's a bit of a, it's secure enough. It's not about to fall off the wall, but I don't know. I'd question the means of which they've fixed it. I guess piece of rotten old timber slapped to the board, slapped to the wall, and then they've just kind of screwed some wood screws through to it. There's no actual proper anchor points where they should be. But anyway, right, get on to some proper testing now. The bloody torch has died, so I'm going to have to dig out the old Makita dog. Pray I've got enough batteries for it. I should have in there. I should have a few different various types. I know that's dead. This will probably work. Have we got any power in that? Oh, full power! Let's see if we can get one out of this one as well. Come on, you slag. Oh, no power indicator on that. We'll bring that one in as well, just in case, and yeah, I hope this is going to be alright. I've not used this for a couple of years. I always date my batteries just for this reason. It lets me know when I bought it, how old it is and stuff. So obviously Halloween 2017 was when this thing was new. Let's go and see if it lights the cellar up. Let's hang that up there. There we go. Right, now I'm going to test ring continuity on the, I think it's the upstairs sockets. Yeah, the upstairs sockets. So pulled out the line neutral and CPC here. We're obviously in the continuity range on the old Q-Tech. Turn the light on so you can see. Let's know the leads and all the resistance in the leads again. I know we all know how to do this, but I'll just show you anyway. Just cross like that. Dead simple. And we're getting 0.73. Know the resistance of the leads and the clips out of the way, and go ahead and connect up on the line and see what we get. 0.31. Neutral should be there or thereabouts, with it being the same CSA. Hopefully the same length. CPC 0.51. So I'm going to go and write these readings down. As usual with the ring circuit, we're going to do a bit of a calculation to work out the CPC and see if that reading that we got up there is pretty much on the button. Yeah, we're on, and the solar panels messed it up, but you can still see that. Yeah, you can see that. What did we get? 0.31 times 1.67, and that's equaling 0.5177, which is pretty close readings, aren't they? I'm happy with that. And we'll go ahead and add those readings together and divide it by 4 and go upstairs and have a look at some sockets. So right away you can see it's a spur. doesn't look too old. So we'll give it a bit of a tighten up and see if that does anything. Yeah, you can see it as I'm pulling it in and out, and giving it a bit of a wiggle. I am getting down to 0.27, but I think there's something wrong with going on in there, something happening in there. That's the problem, the main issue. So I'm going to say we're going to change that socket here. You just plug something normal in like that, just plugged in. You come back and there's absolutely no connection to earth whatsoever. I've just noticed, I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up, if I bring my torch in, my little torch, can you see where the pins go in? Is that clear enough? Can you see? There we are. It's like smashed off inside. It's like something's been kicking the cord that's been plugged into. It's the same for the right side as well. The live pin looks okay, but the neutral's not very good, and this side's horrendous. Right, we're back in the van now. I'm afraid the battery died, so yeah, I just carried on with the day, got the job done, and I've since been back and replaced the faulty issues and sockets and put everything right that was wrong. Just thought I'd highlight these sockets. Now these and a couple more were in the house, powered up, turned on, and in use, if you like. So the first one here, you can quite clearly see, self-evidently, the right hand side has been smashed off, and yeah, you can see the dangers that are not hidden dangers, but the dangers that are going to be someone starts prodding things in there, forcing something. You don't know what's going to happen, so that's quite an easy one to see from a distance, and I guess even from the untrained eye you could see that. These two are a bit trickier. This one especially, I don't know if you can see right in the middle of there, there's a little X, or a big X rather. That's obviously been done by like a decorator when they come to do wallpapering, and they just put a cross across the socket and to cut the bits off, and it's certainly got signs of wallpapering and stuff and paint over the years. But that's not really a main issue. That's the focus I'm talking about is the crack between, on the right hand side you can see the crack between the earth pin and the neutral. I think there's something there on the live as well. Obviously that's it's not a good thing to see. And on the left hand side you can see between the earth pin and the live, again probably evidence of things getting quite warm, heated up. Contact yeah, I mean, things don't look too bad at this side, but who knows what the situation was there, whether there was overloading it. The connections did feel quite tight, but regardless, I went ahead and changed that socket. Now this last socket, the third socket, was this is the one I was filming back at the property, and this is going to show, if you can indeed see it, can you see the pin damage in there where pins have been pushed in and they just kind of they've broke the inside where it should be like white. This is what it should look like if I can just bring this one up. Well, even this one is damaged as well. Let me see if I've got one to show you that I can bring up what it should look like. So with the magic of editing, and here's one I made earlier, this is what they should look like. So if it's going to even focus on them, is it going to focus? Are you going to focus? No. Well, you can see there inside that there's no damage to the pins on the inside, where the pins would go in rather through the little shutters, as opposed to this one where you can see it's already dark. That's because they've smashed off. But yeah, I mean, it's who's going to spot that? Who's going to spot that? Obviously that one's quite obvious, but these are the issues you find, various sockets and other accessories when you're doing inspections and a bit of testing and stuff, and you really get down to the nitty-gritty parts of inspecting something, that's when you get in bad results. So you can see with that socket there, well, 3 of them, I think there was another 2 as well. You can see the issues, why, well, you can see the physical issues that I explained with the sockets, but you can also see why it's an issue about when you should carry out an EICR, at what stage. Now, in the private rental sector, or in the rental sector in general, when there is a change of occupancy, I've said this before, and a lot of people have said it before. It's been flying all over Twitter. Now, if you've got a 5-year EICR or a 3-year EICR, okay, doesn't really matter how long it is, whatever. Let's say 5 years, okay. Over that 5 years, you may have 3-4 different tenants, occupants in that, and they might be 3 or 4 completely different tenants, like the way they live, like what they're going to plug into certain sockets. So you've got a different kind of, you've got different things happening to that socket. One socket might be used, that one socket with the pins that were broken, where the shutters were kind of snapped off, that could have someone just plugging a phone charger in there, and that could, or skip forward 6 months, a new occupant's been in, a new tenant moves in, and it's a different person completely. They're a lot younger. Maybe it's just they want a heater in there. It's winter. They've got a heater. They want the PlayStation plugged in, the TV. They want everything plugged in. There's only one double socket in that room, so extension leads turn up. Maybe there's a trip hazard due to where the bed is. Maybe due to where the socket is, and it's something that gets kicked, or there's a bit of weight on it, or something. Who knows what it is? What I'm saying is, at those change of occupancies, has anyone been round to inspect that those sockets are okay, or do any kind of testing? And from a visual point of view, so maybe an agent might go around once the tenant's moved out, before the new tenant moves in, and just do a walkabout, do a bit of a visual. Are they going to see that? Are they going to see the shutter damage that happened on that socket? Are they even going to see that cracked socket damage? Now, the socket that I just showed in the video there, back at the house, back at the property, that had no connection to earth under a certain situation, when it was wiggled and stuff. So you've got, like, something that's there's a major problem there when you use an appliance or something. There's no connection to earth. And if the guy who did an EICR did it in 4 years previous, whenever previous, and the situation, the circumstances, the occupants have all changed, but everything's backed up on that first original EICR. Oh yeah, we're all covered. We've got an EICR here. We've had so many people moving in and out. The use, the change of use, the change of the kind of demand for the power and everything's moved around. But yeah, it's I'm not pushing for EICRs at every single change of occupancy. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying we should wander into this misty grey area even more and just talk about it, and just say, in certain circumstances, maybe we should be doing a bit more diligent testing, maybe just kind of looking at things from the point of view of, there's been problems here in the past, and maybe we should put it right. Maybe we should make sure that a new tenant's not going to kind of wander in here, and I'm not saying they need brand new sockets and switches every change of occupancy, but who knows what damage has occurred during the tenancy of the previous person, whether it be 6 months or 5 years or whatever. Right, ramble and rant over with, I guess. I'm not ranting or anything like that. I'm just trying to bring attention to certain things that I see, and if we can talk about it, discuss it, let me know what you guys you see in your daily lives and stuff like that, and have a look out for it yourselves. By the way, I've since found out that, like, maybe sometimes when foreign people put foreign objects, foreign sockets, for their outlets, or their sockets, their plugs rather, in our outlets, that can have a problem. So there's an educational issue there, people moving to this country. Anyway, before we get messed around with all that kind of nonsense, right, insurance, Rhino Trade Insurance, don't forget, head over to their website, use my JBEC10 discount code again. Get yourself 10% discount on all your trade insurances. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye now.